John Graham is back, you guys. Badass granddad himself. He is a 15-year veteran of the United States Foreign Service. He used to be on George Bush's no-fly list for being a threat to national security. So I interviewed John a few months ago when Trump was first elected. You guys can go watch that episode after this. John's got many stories of war and near-death experiences. I had to get John back on here because Trump has been doing some things. He's been cooking, and I want to know how John's feeling about Donnie's cooking. So let's start there. You're American. Over the first 100 days of the Donald Trump administration so far, how have you been feeling about it?
I've been feeling very poorly about it. He's done everything he says he wanted to do from Project 2025. It isn't that these are surprises. He told us he was going to do this, and he's doing it as fast as he possibly can. I'm deeply disappointed in the cowardice in our legislature. The Senate and the House of Representatives have allowed him to trample roughshod over the Constitution and even take away their power to do what he wants. Our only the biggest obstacle to him now is our court system, and there have been all kinds of lower court rulings against most of what he wants to do. For example, closing agencies when he doesn't have the constitutional right to do so, breaking every law on the books to deport migrants without due process, cutting the budgets for programs that deal with LGBTQ issues, and attacking anything he views as, quote, woke, that is to say, progressive in thought, in every agency he can get his hand on. Key thing now, as far as I'm concerned, is what happens at the Supreme Court, because these court cases at the lower level are pretty much all going against him. They're all defending the Constitution. For example, our Constitution gives Congress, namely mostly the House of Representatives, the power of the purse, that is to say, the right to dispense money. And Trump has taken that away from them. But because the people that run our House of Representatives are totally in his thrall, they're total toadies, if you will, they're allowing him to do it. So the key thing now is, as these things move up to the Supreme Court, what will the Supreme Court do? There's some indications that at least some of the conservative members of our Supreme Court might in fact fight back, but it's not at all certain that that's going to happen. So at the moment, we're dealing with someone who's basically out of control and pushing the envelope any way he can until someone stops him. That's been his modus operandi since he was a businessman in New York. He just keeps breaking laws until someone puts a foot in his face. And that hasn't
happened. John's actually not. It's not condoning violence. So if that's it, he's not condoning violence. That's just a matter of speech.
It's a matter of speech. Yeah, it's someone until someone stops him. He's going to keep doing it, and he's been like that since he was a businessman. So it's not like it's surprising. But so far, relatively few people have been heroic. And we've been trying to tell their stories on my organization, the Giraffe Heroes Project. I urge people to go to the Giraffe Heroes Project and look at some of the most recent people that we've honored for sticking their necks out. That's what we call it, the Giraffe Heroes Project, because we find people sticking their necks out, hence the metaphor, and we make them as famous as we can. And in many cases, many of them are doing brave things to call Trump to account, or like the president of Harvard, telling him he can take his unconstitutional demands on Harvard and put it where the sun doesn't shine. I hope that's not too offensive.
No, that one's fine. The
president of Harvard, Mr. Garber, told Trump he could take his attacks and put them there. And other universities have now finally assembled the courage. Some 200 universities now have signed on to a common platform of fighting back.
Yeah, I want to quickly jump in there because I want to know which of these things that you've seen from Trump bothers you the most. As a person who has served your country and seen your country go through different precedents like that.
I find his domestic policies most disturbing. I don't like a lot of his foreign policies, but on the other hand, he's done some things in foreign policy that a Democratic president might have done. Getting our allies in Europe to pay more for their own defense, for example, a tough line on China. That's been kind of, in my view, long overdue. I'm not saying a global trade war is a good thing, but on the other hand, taking a tougher line on China was overdue. I think that a hard line toward Iran could very well work. I mean, there's got to be something to push the Iranians toward accepting a new nuclear deal so they don't develop nuclear weapons. The tariff program, it's like a bait and switch. It's like a carnival. One day there's going to be 145% tariffs. The next day it's 30. I mean, it's like bong, 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 bong. But Trump's attitude is just not to play the game the same way anyone else plays the game, but he play it as a wild man, as a crazy man, and to some extent, he may actually get some decent results out of that just by scaring the you know what out of people to give us a better trade deals. Especially when they might be propping up their own industries at our expense. So I'm saying that, okay, I don't like his foreign policy much, but it's not a disaster. Here at home, it's different. The stuff he's doing here, for example, now there seems to be a serious move to cut Medicaid, which is our health program for poor people. And he's cutting it by something like $800 billion, close to $1 trillion. And the whole idea is to free up money so that he can give enormous tax breaks for the rich. That really does disturb me, because I think in this country, in America, so much of the problem stems from rampant inequality. It's not just racial; it's economic. It's a rich versus poor, and we're becoming two nations: a rich nation and a poor nation, with very little in the middle. And everything Trump is doing, and now he wants to give enormous tax breaks for the rich, so that they can further cement the control over the rich over everybody else. That's the real problem. And that's where he has simply got to be stopped. There's got to be something something that serves the needs of the people as a whole. The interesting thing, Victor, is that, of course, many of the people that he's hurting with his economic policies are precisely the people in the states that voted for him. So this is where it gets very interesting, because there are midterm elections now in just a year and a half. And a whole lot of people that voted for Trump are going to see their health care disappear. They're going to see the price of their groceries escalate beyond which they can afford. They're going to see their student loan debt pile up. They're going to see all kinds of things that make them poor and more desperate, all caused by Trump's policy. So will they vote for him? Will they vote for MAGA Republicans in 2026 when the MAGA Republicans, that is to say the Trump Republicans, are really screwing them? It's amazing, because you talk to all kinds of people, of course, are running around talking to these people. They're all people that live from paycheck to paycheck, God bless them. And they haven't got any savings at all. They're living in poor conditions. They voted for Trump because they felt that he was the only person who could pull them out of the morass they're in. Now he's digging the hole deeper for them, but will they react? A whole lot of people interview these people, and they sort of shrug their shoulders and say, oh, yeah, I'm suffering, and I guess I'll suffer more, but gee whiz, Trump's a good guy. In the end, he's going to save my butt. Well, maybe he won't. All he cares about is himself and his rich friends. Sooner or later, the poor people living in our red states, that is to say, the states dominated by Trump politics, sooner or later they're going to figure it out, aren't they? I mean, all of us are in the progressive part of the country are sort of shaking our heads saying, God, you people that voted for Trump, I get that some of you are just ideological diehards, and that's fine. Every country has diehards from the right and the left. But, as you see what's happening, I mean, wake up. This is not in your interest. I get that you want to slam the liberals. You want to own the libs. You want to shut down these leftist universities. I get all that, and I'm not surprised by it. but he's shutting down your own clinics. And when he starts throwing all these people back to their home countries, I mean, some of your listeners probably don't realize that in the American South, which is very much heavily in Trump country,
yeah,
the only way you can get to a rural doctor is through a rural clinic. And the only people that are doctors in rural clinics, well, no American doctors are going to do that. So the doctors there from Bangladesh and the Philippines, they're all being thrown out, told to go home. So that poor people in Louisiana may have to drive 150 miles to set a broken arm because Trump has kicked their family doctor out of the country because he's black or brown or from the wrong country.